House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Meanwhile, both the outgoing and incoming presidents are keeping an exceptionally low profile. Although Joe Biden was glimpsed this morning, half hidden by a cap, mask and sunglasses, as he helped volunteers distribute food packages in Philadelphia. That these are the final hours of the Trump presidency is clear from the removal trucks outside the White House, and by parallel activity in Mar-a-Lago in Florida, where he will spend the opening weeks of his post-presidency. His vice president did have a chance to say farewell to American troops.
And as our time in office draws to a close, allow me to thank you for the privilege of serving as your vice president. It's been the greatest honor of my life.
His wife was barely able to contain her emotions.
It is such an honor to be with you. Here I go. For our very last trip as Vice President and Second Lady of the United States.
Joe Biden will be arriving here in just a few hours' time. And if he looks at the scale of these military deployments, it will be abundantly clear just how precarious the security situation appears to be.
Down the National Mall, final preparations for this surreal inauguration are underway, with displays of patriotism, trying to rally a country that is so deeply divided. Robert Moore, ITV News, Washington.
And we will bring you the Biden inauguration live here on ITV on Wednesday. Tom Bradby will host a special programme from Washington from 4 p.m. with all the key moments of the day. The youngest ever person convicted of terror offences in the UK is now eligible for release less than 6 years after he was given a life sentence. The 20-year-old, known only as RXG, was just 14 when he plotted to murder police officers at an Australian remembrance parade. The parole board says the man from Blackburn has made enough progress in prison to be released early. And fishing firms have been protesting in Westminster over new Brexit rules. They are angry about disruption and delays for new checks and paperwork, of course. The Prime Minister said he understands their concerns. The Celtic manager Neil Lennon has made an extraordinary outburst after 2 of his players tested positive for coronavirus. He accused critics of wanting blood after the squad returned home from a controversial trip to Dubai. Our Scotland correspondent Peter Smith is outside Celtic Park tonight. Peter, what's behind this outburst then?
Well, Celtic have been roundly criticised, from Nicola Sturgeon to their own supporters, saying that they should not have travelled to Dubai for a training camp in the middle of a global pandemic. Now, they went on the premise of this being an elite sports training camp, and the club released footage like this showing the players training hard, but then pictures like this emerged showing the manager seeming to be having a poolside pint with the club captain. Doesn't look like they're wearing masks, it doesn't look like they're social distancing. When they came back, there was a player tested positive for coronavirus, 16 were isolating. Celtic's chief executive has apologised for the trip, but today the club's manager Neil Lennon was in no mood to apologise. Instead of contrition, he was looking for confrontation.
We did not abuse any privilege. We did the right things. We were absolutely totally professional. We had a little drink in the afternoon on the day off. We've come back and we've been absolutely decimated by these rules. Not convinced. A public health issue, more seems political, more to my opinion, nobody's got COVID.
Now, calling into question whether isolating as a public health issue will not go down well at a time when Scotland's hospitals are under strain. Neil Lennon is under pressure for his team's performance on the park. Now, he's under pressure for his performance today off the park.
Peter, thank you. Some of the world's top tennis stars have been finding new ways to train during isolation ahead of the Australian Open. Among them, Britain's Heather Watson, who's completed a 5-kilometre run in her hotel room. She's in strict isolation after arriving on a flight with infected travellers. Other pros have used their hotel room to rally tennis balls against beds or wardrobes. You'd be in the next storeroom, would you? And finally tonight, the former British Special Services soldier who's completed a real-life mission impossible. Namal Purja, who served with the Gurkhas, led a team of fellow Nepalese climbers to the summit of the notoriously dangerous K2. It was the first time anyone has reached the top of the world's second highest mountain in winter.